Hey guys, so I have gotten a lot of requests in the past to do a MAC MSF / beauty powder, I think that's, yeah, MSFs and beauty powder collections, and I've also gotten questions about kind of what the differences are between each of them. So this video is going to kind of kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to show you everything that I have and what I use them for and kind of what the purpose of them is for. So, I should tell you that in the beginning when I first started collecting, I really just was collecting the beauty powders for the packaging because really I have found for the most part, the beauty powders from MAC really don't do much for me. There are some that I really love, which I'll obviously go over. Then there's some that have barely any payoff. So over the past couple of years, I have returned products. I've put them up in blog sales. I've given them away. Just ones that I really don't use or reach for. That I'm kind of over the whole collecting makeup, and I really just want to enjoy the products that I have and use them. So I have gotten rid of a lot of the MSFs and beauty powders in the past, but I do have still a pretty decent sized collection. So I'm going to share that with you, just making sure that I have everything here. Okay, so the first thing is the MSF, which stands for Mineralize Skinfinish Natural. And basically this is just a basic finishing powder. You could use it as a foundation, but it is pretty lightweight. It's really, really nice just as like to hit your T-zone or just set certain things. But as far as like coverage wise, I wouldn't use this as like a full on heavy coverage foundation. I really don't use this as much anymore just because I've been really loving foundations that I don't need to set with powder, so I haven't really reached for this in a long time. But I actually depotted this, which I have a video on how to do that. I'll link it in the description box. This, I depotted it and switched it out with my Heatherette Compact. So the MSF Natural, I'm in the color Medium Plus, and it comes in a wide range of colors. You can just get color matched at the MAC counter. But that is the original. And then I'll show you Smooth Harmony, which actually came in that compact, which I switched out for. This is my MSF compact. This is Smooth Harmony, and as you can see, this one's quite well loved. I think this is one of the better beauty powders that MAC has released in the past because it has really great pigmentation. I use this a lot as a contour. It's kind of light, so you do need to pack it on. In the summer when I have a tan, I can use this as like an all-over powder. But like I said, this is definitely one of the more pigmented beauty powders that I have owned, and I really do like this. And haven't really seen it be released or re-released from MAC in a very long time. If you're lucky, you can find the Heatherette Smooth Harmony at CCOs. I've seen them there quite frequently. Then there is the Sculpt and Shape powder, and this is in the color Bone Beige and Emphasize. This was released a long time ago. Actually got mine at a CCO. You can't get these compacts anymore, and I haven't seen these released in a collection, but you can buy them separately from MAC Pro. So this is basically like a contour / highlight compact. So you can buy this as a full compact and this, but basically this is just obviously Sculpt powder, which is again a really nice bronzy color, and then this is actually one of my favorite highlighters. That's really white, but once it shears out, it's like a really nice glowy highlight. So this I really love, but this is the only one of these that I own. It's nice, but when these run out, it's not something where I would want to repurchase these in full size because I have other highlighters and bronzers and contours that I like a lot better. So just continuing on with the beauty powders that I have in my collection. This one was from the Hello Kitty collection, and this is in Tahitian Sand. And it had the Hello Kitty face like embossed in it, but it's kind of worn. This one is like a peachy color, but it's very light. Like I packed it on pretty heavy there, but it shears out to basically nothing. So what I use this for sometimes is just a finishing powder. I just take like a big fluffy brush and just go over if I have like an oily, my skin isn't oily at all, but sometimes the foundations, like if I use a dewy foundation but I don't want it to look dewy, I'll just powder up with this. Or if I know I'm going to be outside and it's hot and I just want like something to set, I just basically use this as an all-over powder. But aside from the cute, adorable packaging, this product does basically nothing. I would say this, besides Smooth Harmony, this was probably one of the best, if not the best, beauty powders MAC has released, and that is from the I think it was the Barbie Loves MAC collection, and this is in the color Pearl Sunshine. The color Pearl Sunshine has been released since this collection, and this was probably one of the very first collections that I started with MAC. You can see the dent I've made on that. This is a very soft, very like satiny, smooth powder, and I use this mainly as a highlight. It's definitely too shimmery to wear as an all over, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous highlight. And I just obviously love the packaging. Another beauty powder is the Shell Pearl, and this was from the Liberty of London collection. And again, this is a really nice one. It's kind of similar to the Pearl Sunshine. So this is Pearl Sunshine. No, this is, yeah, Pearl Sunshine, and this is Shell Pearl. So this is a little bit more peachy, this is a little bit more nude, but they both have a really nice sheen. So I use both of these as like a highlight. This has a little bit more pinky undertones, whereas this one from Barbie has more peachy undertones. But I use these both as highlights with like a fan brush or something like that. And then the only other like outcast from my MSFs was the highlight powder in Marine Life, and I think that, I forget which collection this was, from last summer. This was crazy. It sold out really quick. And this one is very pigmented. They call it a highlight powder, but it's definitely more of a blush. I mean, if anyone were to use that as a highlight, that's kind of scary. So this is definitely a product I do not use until the spring, summer. It's a very bright, corally blush color. You can use like the pink. Here's just the pink. But when you mix them together, that's the color that you get. And then obviously this is, you know, your coral. So I guess you could use just the pink as a highlight, but I definitely wouldn't swirl my brush and use the whole thing as a highlight, because that would be kind of a little too much, I think, for a highlight. Just wipe off my hands here. Okay. Alright, so now getting into, oh, I do have another highlight powder. This is Shalem A. It's the, it's Special Reserve Highlight Powder. I found this at a CCO, or no. Did I buy this from the collection? I forget how I got this. But this is a really pretty highlight, and the reason I really like this one is because it's kind of subtle. Like, you really need to pack your brush in to it, but it's a really pretty golden highlight. I don't have Smooth and Gentle, Soft and Gentle, which is a permanent MSF from MAC, and this I thought was pretty similar, and plus I just liked the texture of the packaging. So this is more of like a pure golden highlight. It's really pretty. Okay, so now we're going to move on to MSFs, Mineralize Skinfinishes, and these are usually, like I said, released with certain collections. The permanent ones at MAC are Soft and Gentle, which is like a champagne golden highlight, and then they have Golden Deposit or Gold Deposit, which is like a bronze color with crazy chunky silver flecks. I used to have it, and I got rid of it in a blog sale. It was just way too much for me. My very, very favorite and probably one of the most coveted ones is Stereo Rose, and it's probably the most used. I love this one because I use this as a blush, and it's kind of like a blush highlight all in one. It's just gorgeous. I do have a backup of this too that I know I will get to use at some point because I really use this one a lot. This is Stereo Rose. It's just gorgeous, and again, if you can find this at a CCO, I would highly recommend it. The cool thing about Mineralize Skinfinishes, the ones that come out with the collections, is no two are alike just because of the veining and how they're made and baked. So you might get one with a lot of gold veining and one with no gold veining. So that's why it's kind of always a gamble when you're purchasing MSFs online, because you just can't pick it out. Whereas I prefer to go into the MAC counter or store and look through their selection and pick out the one with the prettiest veining or the one that I like the most. So that's probably my favorite MSF. The first one I think I ever got was So Ceylon, which is basically a gorgeous, gorgeous bronzy color. Really pretty for the summer. And when I wear this, I basically use this as a like bronzer and blush all in one. And I just sweep this on the cheekbones. It's so pretty. And I haven't seen this one be released in a while, which I'm surprised about because I know how popular this was when it came out. And then in that same collection, they released Petticoat, which is like a really pretty pinky cranberry golden color. I've been actually wearing this one a lot lately. It's this one right here. Sometimes I wear it as a blush, and sometimes I just top off my blush with it to give me a pretty pink iridescence. But I feel like with every application of this, you get something different, which is why I like it. And then probably one of my favorite highlight MSFs, which is, MSFs are normally used for highlighting, but there are some times where you get really great ones like Stereo Rose that you can use as a blush. But this one is probably my favorite MSF that I use strictly for highlight because it's just too shimmery as a blush. And it's the blonde MSF when it came out with the blonde, redhead, and brunette collection. It does have 3 strips of pink, but I usually just swirl my brush in over the whole thing and you just get this gorgeous pink color. It's right here. I did get the red too, redhead, and I ended up returning it because I just felt like it was really chunky, not refined golden. I didn't like it. And the brunette was just too dark, and it kind of reminded me of like So Ceylon, which I already had. Alright, so right next to that, I will swatch Perfect Topping. And this is, again, probably one of my more likable MSFs. Really unique colors. There's some purple and orange, a little bit of blue. Well, kind of like blue-purple, gold, champagne. I use this only when I wear pink blushes. It's more of like a pearlized highlight, and it's this color right here. But you could basically wear this with anything. It's a really pretty highlight. And then the same collection also released Refined, which is kind of like the peachier version of that. And it's got really pretty veining. This is probably the most gorgeous one just to look at. Browns, peaches, corals, orange, champagne, pearl. It's kind of like that same pearly color, but it has like the orangey undertones. So it's right there. My hands are becoming a mess. This one is Cheeky Bronze. I've actually gotten a lot of use out of this one too. And it's kind of just like a bronzy, glowy highlight. So I use this both on my cheeks and as a bronzer. And this one is pretty darn pigmented. You can see it right there. But this is kind of like Stereo Rose. It's like a highlight and a blush all in one. When I use it on my cheekbones. I don't just use it as a highlight because it's a little too pigmented. And then my favorite highlight slash like universal color that I could wear all the time used to be this one until I got the Dior Amber Diamond, but it's champagne, and I got this from a CCO in a collection, and it's just basically a golden highlight. A lot of these other MSFs have like pink undertones or peach undertones, or they're like more pearlized. This is strictly a golden highlight, and it's a really pretty summery highlight color. It's right there. And just to compare, I know this is just on Max MSFs and powders, but I did want to compare Dior Amber Diamond just because this is probably my top favorite highlighters. And I just like the pigmentation of it. It's really, really soft. And it's this one right here. So very, very similar to Champagne. A little bit more refined. And then, of course, the Estee Lauder highlighter in Modern Mercury. That was kind of, well, it's non-existent now because it was part of a limited edition collection. But this is, I'd say this is more comparable to like Blonde, but it almost like, I don't know if you can see that, it almost just looks like it's wet, like it's foiled. And it's definitely unique. It just has a glow unlike any of these other ones. Like, it just really shines, and I think you can definitely tell the difference. So, that is an overview of my collection of beauty powders and MSFs and kind of what they're used for and things like that. Basically, the idea of MSF is like either a highlight, most of the time it's a highlight. Like I said, there are certain colors you can use as a blush, but what's great about them is you can actually use them up a lot, because when you use a blush, I normally always top it with a highlight from the MSFs. Although I have been using my Modern Mercury a lot more since I've bought it, because this is like my favorite one. This and the Dior Amber Diamond. But that's kind of the point of them. If you're just starting out with the MSFs, I would definitely swatch them in the stores, because you never know what they're gonna look like. They could be super pretty like in the little compact, but as soon as you get home it could just be like a disaster. And same with beauty powders. Like, they try to sell you they sell us so well on the packaging, but then you get it home and you're like, this is absolutely nothing for me. And that was what happened with a lot of the ones that I've had in the past. And you also have to be careful too with the highlight powders. There are times where you'll get it and it's gorgeous, but you'll realize after one use, that golden glittery shimmer on the top was just an overspray. Like with Marine Life, that was the case. Like, once you use it once, that shimmer is gone. Whereas like with the Estee Lauder one, when at first it looked like an overspray, but really, I mean, no matter how many times I've used this, you still get the same application every single time. And you can even see like the glow of this one. It's pretty. I wish it was more available. But, so yeah, I would definitely not recommend buying these online. I definitely think all the powders I mentioned are worth seeing in person, because you just never know. And especially, too, if you have a nice makeup artist, they'll usually let you pick the one that you want. If you want more gold veining or less gold veining, or more color or less color, it's always fun to kind of see them all side by side. So I hope that helps you guys out with questions or confusion that you've had surrounding these powders, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my collection. It's definitely condensed, and I'm trying to condense it even more, but I can't get rid of them. Like, the ones that I still have, I really do love, and I do use all of them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!